Hey everyone, Cypher here again, and we are now in the descent into the sixth circle of the Inferno, which is home to the heretics, which of course that means this is Heresy. Now, Heresy is, part of this is actually the, kind of like the, if you want to say it's the basement or the underground portion of Heresy, so, you know, it's very interesting. That one thing that makes Heresy so unique is because, as Dante put it, is that those who are condemned to this circle will be forever be entombed in tombs of fire. Basically, it'd be like a stone casket, as you're seeing, and basically a continuous burning flame will constantly burn them. And the only time that they will ever be released is upon final judgment. So, you know, you're in there for a long time. Now, the way to be here is, obviously, if you're convicted of the crime of heresy, being a heretic. Now, by definition, a heretic is someone who believes not the divine religion. So, as we saw in the game here so far, Dante is a crusader, and he's called those of the Islamic faith heretics. So basically, consider them, they are lost souls, and I am worth my time, our time, you know, so forth. Because Christianity was like the only religion, so anyone, if you weren't believing the mainstream religion, you were considered a heretic. So that was it's a very somewhat sensitive topic during this time frame. But definitely by definition of this time frame was anyone that believed the pagan religions, and Virgil nails it right on the head. You know, the nail, I want to analogy it there. He nails it right on. Those who are heretics or followers of pagan religions would be condemned to here. Now, pagan religions back during Dante's time would be those who, let's say, I would give an example would be the Druids of northern England, Ireland area, Scotland. That's pretty much would be the Druids. Wherever that would be them, because they'd be considered heretics there because they're following a different religion. Pagans were those who were, the term would be polytheist, which is many gods religion, which could be the Greek/Roman gods, so forth. So, and of course, obviously, you've seen the upside down crosses, so it's definitely a very, very classical sign of those who are non-believers of Christianity. And that light you saw piercing down was the light from heaven beaming down here. As Virgil will mention during this time frame, he will mention that when the great crown prince came down here to retrieve the shades, which are spirits, or souls, really, I should say, of the original families and so forth, which is Abraham, Noah, Abel, probably Adam and Eve. And he said, like, when they came down there, the place shook very violently, and it just boom, place rocked, shook like a massive earthquake hit it. And of course, you'll see it when we get closer to that, by that definition would be. And of course, you really want to get out of those things, because that thorn demon there just wants to obviously barbecue you in those fires, and you just want to get rid of him ASAP. So we don't, you can't be careful. Because you're in there, you will die. That's definitely one thing. Of course, here I hit level 7 of my holies because I resolved the last guy required, so I'm at full maximum holy at this point, but I am only just at the 6 level for the unholy side. So once you complete both sides, it's kind of cool looking, but you know, whatever. And of course, you gotta run back here quickly. He's like, hey, you gonna try to open that door? You know, I'm just happy to burn you, but obviously, turn around real quick, deal with him, punish off him, and you don't have to deal with him because there's some juice coins and obviously soul fountain as well as good. So it's like, yeah, you kind of want to deal with him. Well, like you said about the heretics and pagans, it was tough during this time frame because if you're a devoted Christian, a complete devoted Christian, follower of the faith, everything, and you're being charged with heresy, your faith was literally shaken to the core because you were afraid what was going to happen. And in most cases, people were either burned at the stake or whatever kind of torture, punishment, execution way, literally, that's what would happen but from the church, because you're a heretic. You were someone who went astray from the path. Sure, you probably could be somewhat redeemed, but if the evidence was serious against you, even if it's falsified, let's say the example of I was a farmer, my neighbor was a farmer. We're competing against each other in order to get our products out there, and I somehow did a little more better because the crops did better for me and my livestock as well. They may assume like either I'm pulling some kind of special moves or something, like I'm not praying to a god, I'm praying to some other god, and it's giving me a better favor, so I'll be classified as a heretic. And even it could be outlandish, but as the old saying is, one word over another. So of course there's another like demons. There's like how many flaming tombs or coffins, whatever you want to say, they're here. It's just wow. It's literally, it's the eye can see. And of course I jumped up there and pressed R1 to get onto it. And here I'm being a little cautious because you fall down there, you're pretty much shown. There was a little bit of graphical glitch there or thing, but no big deal in there. But you can see Heresy is humongous. And oh yeah, what's up? That statue looks like Jamie Hyneman from Mythbusters. I don't know why. Every time I come to this part and see him, I always think that. I think for the first time.
I was deposed, humiliated.
Yeah. I'm just doing it for the souls at this point. You know, but being a heretic is horrible. And right there's actually a statue of one of the denizens that are in this area. Now there's two types. We have heretic and we have pagan. Now this is a heretic right here, because you know it's a heretic when you have like that orange orb around the top of their head. Basically this protects them against holy based moves. However, righteous path is a holy move, but it's also a more physical holy based move. So basically you just pawn that guy, own him like he's nothing. So no big deal. And the heretics are definitely the ones you have to watch out for, because they are here in the game, at least in terms where they are, they're supposed to be known as like pretty much the true guardians, the watchdog, the watchmen, wardens, whatever you want to call them, of heresy. While there's the pagans are basically also watchmen, but they're underlings to them. And you'll see the difference, because like I say, the heretics have the orb above their head, that purple orb, and pagans do not. But however, they're both quite quick, especially if you knock them down with toss your staff, and you do get hit by them unless somehow you're quick on your block button, which then you send it back to them. And of course you got another Ember charred minion here again. And I'm just using whatever moves I can in order to take them out, as well as this Thorn Beam. And that's actually what they're called. You can look it up in the Beast Dictionary or Demon Dictionary, and I will say that. So, yeah, heresy, oh my goodness. Now, in today's world, heresy technically is not supposed to be around anymore by most standards, because it's been outlawed, at least by the Catholic Church and probably other places. And in some parts of the world, I believe heresy is still around in terms of like, it could be for witchcraft, or someone is like, oh, you're not following our religion, you're condemning you to death. And like I said, some parts of the world, it is that way. And you hear cases that from time to time of actually young children, like girls, are being charged with witchcraft. I can understand, like, say, take example, the Salem witch trial in Salem, Massachusetts. That would be a good example of heresy being shown up, being though it was technically a witchcraft or witch hunt, even though it was all false, because as most people probably know now that know the story is that they were eating the bread that somehow became somehow a hallucinogenic drug, because the wheat somehow got contaminated by a fungi that produced this hallucinogenic form. So
with all his followers who make the soul die with a
yeah, and you got this guy who says like, oh yeah, because the Christian belief is upon death the soul would rise into heaven, but here this guy says, oh no, when the body dies, the soul dies with them. Yeah, back in that time frame, that was like a it was like, curse you, you're a heretic. Yeah, he was a bad guy, obviously. Complete dumbass. But of course, episodes believed during that time frame. So, no big deal. Now, of course, in today's world, I know definitely said with the whole, witchcraft is still around. And of course, I kind of compared that with Salem and so forth. And this part is timed. You have to see when that part right there, that pedestal that rises, is shaking. That's the part you should launch that pedestal that you're holding behind, and I kind of failed there because I already while I charge it. Once it goes up, it cuts those flames down. We're just going to jump up here, and we meet actually a pagan. That is bad. I know they look kind of the same, but they. Yeah, so you just look at that. Above their head, they have that orb. Then and of course, it's like, hey, second wall. Second wall. It's like, no, hey, second wall. Okay. No flip. So yeah. And obviously you can tell they're quick, so if you get the relic known as Shoe of Nessus, you will be able to deal with them. And then of course there's the character coming in. However, Mard is so powerful it basically it owns their asses. But yeah. It's very controversial with this whole heresy topic. Here's how people. And here we got this night. Hey, some guy, hey, he's from Florence. Hey, you know what? Because you're from Florence, I'm from Florence, we'll take you down to you. That's cool, Dante is from Florence, that's that kind of, among that side, that one. But yeah, anyways, like, you say, oh, atheists could be, being away since, heresy because you're going against a key religion being Christianity here. Or at least in the US being, a multiple religion, but of course heresy, freedom of religion comes to play with the Constitution. But atheism is just like, oh, you just don't believe in a God. That's all it is. And that's kind of me, and I'm not going to say force what my thoughts and beliefs are on it. But, yeah, it's like I say, it's a very sensitive topic when it comes to religion because how the world is right now with how everything is. Like, we say one little thing that offends a religion, and then, boom, it blows up. Example, in Modern Warfare 2, there was a map called Favela, and supposedly it had some picture frames that supposedly on the picture frame itself is supposed to be some inscriptions from the Quran, the Muslim holy book. And while most players didn't even care about it, is where its place was the controversial one was over a toilet, which, big offense, and of course, Activision being who they are, decided to obviously remove it and re-upload the map with it out. Which I gotta think is stunning. It's like Modern Warfare 2 was out for X amount of years and you're just starting to notice it. It's like one of those moments you're really Islamic gamers are being kind of done. Now, obviously by pushing a pedestal and the locks in place, you drop that rail there. And actually, if you had to kind of like this is like the wisdom of Saint Lucretia has helped you out or something like that. So I turned it off, and so yeah, it's just a little nuisance. Now, when it comes to these lava parts, I'm not sure if you get hit by them, you fall into your death, or you just take some damage. I am not sure, but I do not recommend you get hit by them because you never know. Yeah, but the whole this whole thing. But even then, it's like a religion topic is always a very sensitive topic by many means, by many religions across the world. And yes, now these Nats are starting to use ice moves, so you gotta be careful. But they're just weak ice moves. It's kind of, I'm gonna throw some ice at you. Yeah, it doesn't work out so well. It does not work out so well. Plus, it's a fail. But like I said, when it comes to this topic, it's always very, 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 very sensitive. But heresy is, obviously a major component of the Inferno, and being it's a good one, it almost seems like that middle ground between, like these open limbos, lust, gluttony, greed, and anger, for fear, and of course after at this point. But obviously, I use the righteous path, which do have to get some fire minions, so it freezes them at the same time, so a double win-win there. So now we're going to continue on and complete, because obviously that statue is in a way from getting out, or at least to a doorway. So yeah, and of course I just got here and I just waited just to make sure. cut. So I'll see everyone, or you all again, on the next video, which I complete Heresy. So see you, everyone.